Okay, coaches, we're going to talk about how Marshall University defends 2-by-2 or 3-by-1 Y-off formations, particularly how the linebackers play their gap responsibility in Marshall's 4-2-5 defense. A special thanks goes out to Marshall linebacker coach Adam Fuller for submitting these clips and helping contribute to our special report. These clips were uploaded to Huddle, so we may have to fast forward a few based on some technical issues, but we'll get through a lot of these. So we're going to take a look here. Now, this is going to be an 8-man fit, okay, primarily because it's a 2-back Y-off formation. It's pistol. And in the full-length special report, Coach Fuller talks about the pistol formation where his linebackers will now read the under keys of the offensive lineman to make sure that they're giving the right indicator in terms of where the zone is coming to, which side. Now, what Marshall does, as documented earlier, is it activates its nickel or Sam linebacker as the free hitter. What that allows these other box linebackers to do, such as the Mike and the Will, is to play behind. So they'll generally play their 3 technique to the boundary, who's the B-gap player. There's a C-gap player's defensive end. The nose is going to be the A-gap player or shade nose. There's a C-gap player. He's a B-gap player. Okay, now he's able to play behind into the backside A, and that allows the Will linebacker, okay, to be an extra defender on the crease, which is the wind-back of the zone play. Okay, so we're going to see here is a zone bluff concept, okay, where now you can see this defensive end is going to be put in conflict because here comes the Y. He's looking to arc on perimeter support. It's an inside zone scheme. The quarterback winds up taking it. The defensive end does a great job making a tackle, but you'll see why that occurs here. So there's a 3 technique into the boundary. What that does, when they're allowed to play behind with the extra fitter, they're allowed to come back behind on the wind back. So watch that Will or boundary linebacker here. You know, you're going to have to force a double team, okay, on that player right here. What that does is now the Mike linebacker is able to work into the A gap because he's got that nickel coming into the B gap. Okay, this player, the Will, is able to come behind, so you have a player for the quarterback. Okay, and now whatever you want to do, Coach Fuller will change it up at Marshall if they want to turn and chase with that player, okay, which may be the logical thing to do because they have a quarterback player here. And, you know, he's putting a bind here. That tackle is able to climb on the Will linebacker, but that defensive end is on block, and he's able to make the play on the quarterback. Same 2-by-1 Y-off formation. Okay, now again, we talked to Coach Fuller. A lot of what Marshall tries to do is they try to keep a 2-high structure. Okay, that's what they like to do to show it. They don't want to give it away right away, but in some case, they're going to play some form of man, okay, the number 2 receiver, because this player knows, okay, that on a run action, he is going to be the B-gap fitter to the field. And you see he's going to make the play late here. One point I want to bring out, okay, is that this linebacker is taught to spill the ball. Okay, and that's what's going to happen here in a second as we go through this. There's a simple isolation here. They do get a couple yards, but you can see how they're going to fit it. You know, it may make sense to make that adjustment where that nickel's a little tighter because he's got to play the B gap. Okay, defensive end gets turned out. Here comes the Mike linebacker. It's an isolation situation. He's got to take that on, spill that to the free hitter, which is that nickel or Sam. You see the nickel or Sam does show up, okay, but he probably shows up later than Coach Fuller and Marshall's defensive staff hoped for here. There's some spring cuts from this year. This is the Y-off out of 3-by-1. Not so much a pistol, but the back set over here. Now that's key too, okay, based on where the back set is, because now what happens is if you have the Y away from the back, there is a possibility of that zone bluff or split zone play, okay, which would allow these linebackers to play behind. So here's the extra hitter here, which is going to be that Sam or nickel. Now, this situation, you're going to get a stretch play. So Coach Fuller calls this gap plug. Okay, they're not going to play behind. They got a 3-by-1 situation. Now they're just getting stretched, so those linebackers are going to get downhill into their gap. There's a C-gap player. There's a D-gap player. Okay, this linebacker is going to be a full flow player here, okay, because you got he's going to be a B-gap player here. Okay, you got the nose over here. The tackle's in the 3 technique. He's going to be the B-gap player here, and defensive end's a C-gap player here. All right, so now they're just playing gap plug, playing their gaps. We'll see a better shot of it when we take a look at the end zone shot. Getting a lot of questions on the Y-off. Big difference is where that back is set. okay, and what action you're getting by the offense. Is it stretch like you have here? Is it split zone? Is it zone bluff? Whatever it may be. But right now, you see the down block right now, so that linebacker's playing his gap. Okay, this linebacker's playing his gap. And it's just a gap plug scenario. Pretty good job by the Mike. As you see, he's able to get involved in the tackle. Okay, now you have a 3-by-1 with a Y off, but now it's a pistol set. Okay, so again, once Marshall sees the pistol set, they're on under keys, which means the offensive line will tell them which zone direction they're going. Right now, you're getting that zone bluff, okay, or that cut zone, whether he's kicking out the defensive end or whether he's working to the perimeter. We'll see how they fit this from the end zone shot. Okay, so right now, with the 3 technique to the boundary, that allows them to play behind. You're going to have the strong safety or the Sam or nickel. This player able to play the B gap. The Mike's able to play behind into the A. Okay, the will linebacker is going to be able to play the crease. Watch how this develops here. I'm going to have to catch this quick, coaches. See if we can get this right back where we need it. Okay. So now you see the defensive end is here. Okay, he's playing. He sees the handoff given, but there's the will linebacker. He's able to help on the wind back. There's the Mike linebacker filling into the A. And then what that allows you to do is you have a single high width, or single high receiver. That boundary safety, or that whip, whatever you want to call it in the 4-2-5, is able to be aggressive in the run game. So, there's a will linebacker. There's the Mike. Pretty good job collapsing and taking care of the ball carrier. Same formation. Okay, now you're going to get cut zone. We'll take a look at this. Cut zone meaning that Y is now going to block the defensive end or try to cut him off. See if I get back to that. Okay, in this situation, what that allows you to do on the cut zone, again, is play behind. So now he's still a B-gap player. The Mike becomes your A-gap player. Okay, here comes this will linebacker. Is able to play wind back with that player coming across. And here's the end zone shot of it. Having that 3 technique to the boundary allows this player to play a little more square, okay, and see the mesh. He could be a quarterback player, okay, and great job by that will linebacker coming over to play wind back. If the ball cuts back over here, this player has to make a decision. He's cutting, okay. That defensive end, that will linebacker is going to be right there to make the play. That tackle cannot climb to him because he has a 3 technique in front of him. So that's the benefit of the field hitter, coaches, where you can have that 3 technique into the boundary. That has to account for that double team. This is going to be the zone bluff. I believe the quarterback's going to keep it here out of pistol. We'll just take a look at the end zone shot on this one. Okay, again, 3 technique into the boundary. Will linebacker is going to play the wind back. Mike linebacker is going to play the A. Okay, here comes the nickel. Or Sam linebacker able to work into the B. Defensive end's able to see the mesh right now. He could be a quarterback player. Okay, but you see there's the will linebacker. He's able to come over the top. He's able to play the crease or the wind back. And you got that half safety, that whip here, or weak side safety, whatever you want to call it. He's able to trigger involved in the run game as well. All right, coaches, we appreciate your attention. Thanks again goes to Coach Adam Full, the linebacker coach at Marshall University, for submitting how he defends one-back run game out of his 4-2-5 defense.